So, just a general point that I always tell you guys um, do what works for your body. Everything I say is a suggestion, not a requirement. And I try to give different options along the way so you can pick what works best for you on any given day. But I think part of the practice is actually paying attention to what's working for you and taking that step to make the best choice for you. And then in terms of props, if you do the class from home, you can always do it without props. I try to kind of cue how you can do it with or without the props. And you can use things like, books or shoe boxes instead of these guys, or even a rolled blanket. Um, and we're using the resistance band a lot this session, but this is optional as well. So what we'll often do is do the movements without the band first and then try them with the band. So you're welcome to just do the movements without the band the second time, or even do 1 or 2 reps with the band and then set it to the side if that's your preference. And a lot of what we do with the band, you can do with a yoga strap instead, if you like, just without the resistance, but still with a bit of support. So, blurb over. How's everyone feeling this morning? Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay. So I thought we'd work on hips a little bit today. We'll do those movements without the band and then with the resistance band if you have it. And we will be doing a little bit of standing balance towards the end of the class. So it's nice to have a wall handy if you can so that you can use it for some balance support when we get there. But for now, we're going to start in a seat. So I always suggest sitting up on some kind of elevation just so that you can sit with your back a little bit straighter. So you can fold your blanket in half and sit on that, or you can sit on a block. If you're practicing at home, you can always just sit on a chair as well. We want to avoid the feeling of sitting with our back kind of curled forward and tail tucked under because that just gets uncomfortable after a while. Okay, and the props that we'll need nearby to start with, either the resistance band if you have it, or just your strap. So once you've found a comfortable seat, just allow your hands to rest wherever they are comfortable, wherever your shoulders can feel like they can rest and drop away from your ears. And then take a moment to just feel yourself here on your mat in the room you're in, tuning into your connection to the ground. And then turn your attention inwards and take a few moments to just connect with yourself, noticing how you feel from the inside out. And now turn your attention to your breath and just notice how your breath feels today. And just getting curious, notice, does your breath feel like it's moving fast or slow? Does it feel smooth or not? Does it feel like your breath has lots of areas to move in your body, or does it feel kind of confined to upper chest or throat? Now we'll pay a little bit more attention to the movement of breath in our rib cage. So, first, just observe if you pay attention to your ribs, do they feel like they're moving a little bit with each breath? Can you sense a bit of expansion or inflation with your inhales? And there's no right answer here. Just kind of connect, notice your baseline. You might notice if you can sense more at the front of your body or the back or the sides. And let's add a prop here. So grab either your resistance band or your strap, whichever one's longer. Doesn't really matter which one we use. And what we're going to do is wrap it around the back of our ribs, bring the two ends forward. Once you've got these ends forward, then cross them over. And then just pull them apart a little bit so you got a bit of a feeling of the band tightening around the back and the sides of your rib cage. And now continue to breathe. It might help you to feel your rib cage moving as you breathe. And just stick with your observing attention. So just notice. Can you feel that sense of movement? Where do you feel it? And let's bring some more intention to this breathing. Think about sending your breath into the bottom border of your ribs, front, sides, and back, as if you could evenly expand or inflate your rib cage with your inhales. And just allow it to settle back naturally with your exhales. And if you found that there was one part of your ribs that you didn't feel moving as much, you might want to send a little bit more breath there, a little bit more of an intention to open up some space there. So for me, it's the back of the rib cage. I want to picture expanding the back of my ribs as I inhale. And then we'll let this go. You can set the prop off to the side. Try that breathing, that 360 breathing, a couple of times without the feedback of your band. And let it go. Come back to your natural rhythm of breath. And take a moment to tune in, just see how you feel now, how your breathing feels. I always find I feel like there's a bit more space to breathe after that 360 breathing exercise. And we're going to stick with the 360 breathing throughout this session a lot because when we use the bands and call on some strength, it's nice to have some core engagement. So you're moving from a steady core, and rather than engaging by sucking things in, we want to have an even engagement through the whole kind of cylinder of our core, not just the front. So that's a nice sneaky way to do it. Okay, let's move a little bit here before we change positions. So as you inhale, bring your arms up, draw your palms together, and with your exhale, trace your hands down the center line of your body. Let's keep going with that movement a few more times. Inhaling up and then exhaling back down. And then as you bring your hands back down, we'll pause here. Bring your right hand down to the ground. Inhale the left up. And with your next inhale, can you add a little bit more length to your spine? Just feel like you're getting a tiny bit taller. And then exhale to go into a side bend. Take a breath or so here. This time, breathe into the left side ribs. And then inhale, come on back up. Let's switch the arms. With your inhale, add some length. Exhale, find your side bend over the other way. Breathe into the right side of your ribs. Maybe the right side and the back. See what works for you. And then come on back up. Reach both arms up this time. Maybe interlace your fingers and flip your palms up and reach. And let it go. Release your arms. Shake them out. Nice. Okay. We're going to change positions now and come down to laying on our back. So, what we're going to use while on our back is the resistance band and or the strap. So if you've got both, you can have them nearby. If you've got one or the other, that's fine. They both work. And when you lay down on your back, make sure you got a bit of space for your arms to move at the top of your mat. And you're always welcome, if you're more comfortable with a bit of a pillow, to have your blanket or a pillow under your head. So take a moment, get yourself set up on your back. And first, just feel the back of your body on the ground. You might like to take a deeper breath and just allow your body to settle on purpose. And now bring your arms out by your sides in a T position. Turn your palms to face up towards the ceiling. And we'll start with some snow angel arms. So just start to trace your fingers along the ground as you bring your arms up overhead. And allow your hands to float up away from the ground whenever that feels like it would be more comfortable. And then swing them gently down, just like you're making a big snow angel on the ground. We'll try this a couple of times. Let your arms come back to rest. Bring your knees in towards your chest and give yourself a little hug. You can rock a couple of times side to side if you'd like. And then come on back to center and reach arms and legs up towards the ceiling and just give them a nice shake out. Shake them enough that your whole body can kind of join in with this wiggly motion. And then come back to stillness. And we're going to keep the right leg up. Bring left foot and arms back down to the ground. And now we're just going to swing this leg a little bit, lowering it down towards the ground just a bit. And then coming back up to the starting place. Just nice, easeful, smooth movements. So the goal isn't to lower your leg as far as you can. The goal is to move in a range that feels nice and easeful. Just waking up your hip joint a little bit. And let's switch to the other side. And as you move, can you bring your attention back to your rib cage? Maybe you can try that 360 breathing again. See if you can notice the back of your ribs expanding into the ground a little bit with this 360 breath. And it doesn't have to be an action of pressing your rib cage down. Just as you breathe, as you fill up your ribs, do you notice a bit of expansion down into the ground? And let's let this leg movement go. Place your foot back onto the ground. With your knees bent and your feet on the floor, just walk your feet a little farther away from you. Walk them a little wider apart and just let your knees windshield wiper from side to side. And then come on back to center. Walk your knees in a little bit more. And now walk your feet all the way together so that the inner edges of your feet, maybe just your big toes, maybe the whole foot, inner edge of the whole foot can be touching. Let your arms relax. And our movement here will be to let the knees move out to the sides, away from each other, so that you're rolling out to the outer edge of your feet, sorry, and then slowly bring your knees back up to center. So the whole sole of your foot is coming down to the ground. And then just keep trying that one out. Nice, slow movement. Try to make the second half of this movement when you're coming back to center be a little bit slower. And the next time you come back into center, we'll stay here. You could just let your feet and your legs come to a more restful position. And now we're going to grab our resistance band or yoga strap. And if you don't have any of those at all, that is fine too. Okay. So to start off with, bring your right knee in towards your chest and wrap the band or the strap around the bottom of your foot. And if you're using the resistance band, hold it so that there's not much tension at all. So you're just using it as we would use it like this, a yoga strap. So it's just there for support. Nice. And once you've got that, flex your foot so that your toes are pulling down towards the ground. At the same time, reach up through your heel, trying to make the back line of your leg a little bit longer. But keep a little bit of softness in the back of your knee. You can do those things at the same time. And then relax your leg a little bit, but keep it up here. And hold the strap or the band in the same hand as legs, so in your right hand. The other hand can come to rest on your hip bones. We'll try out some rotations in this leg now. So, as you rotate, think about moving your upper leg bone in your hip socket. So, rotate the whole leg out so that your toes are turning out to the side, and then in so that your toes are turning in. And keep going, but try to think about the movement coming from your hip joint. So, it's not your toes that are initiating the movement, it's coming down at the top of the chain. And the other hand on your hip bones can give you some feedback. If your hips are moving along with this rotation, make your rotation smaller. See if you can isolate this movement to just your leg moving. And then pause in external rotation so that your knee and your toes are pointing out to the side. And now we can stay right here if you like, especially if you don't have a strap, I would stay right here. Or you can move your leg out to the side. So opening it out to the side, I like to have my elbow on the ground here for a bit of support. So see if that position works for you and use the band for support. So just pull back on the band or the strap a bit. Take a breath or two. And try to find a position where all of the back of your torso can stay on the ground. So you're not leaning too much over to the side. And now come on back to center. Switch the strap or the band into the other hand. Straighten the other leg along the ground. So your right arm can just rest on the ground. And now what we're going to do is bring our leg over in the other direction. So right leg leaning over to the left. Try to only go as far as you can while keeping both sides of your shoulders on the ground. So your right hip will lift up, but your shoulders are still nice and heavy. And come on back in when you're ready. Bring your leg back up to the starting place, and we'll let this side go. So remove the strap or the band, set it off to the side. Take a moment here to rest or have a bit of movement. Okay, let's do that all on the other side. Once you've got this set up, then we'll start with our hamstring stretch. So a bit of softness in the back of your knee at the same time that you keep that flex your foot, toes pulling down, heel reaching up. You might like to revisit your 360 breathing again. Just see, can you breathe into the bottom border of your rib cage all the way around, front, back, and sides. And then soften that work. Have the strap in the same hand as leg. The other hand can rest on your hip bones if you like. And try out your rotations here. Picture this movement happening at your hip joint. I like to picture it happening through the bones. So the rest of your leg, your lower leg and your foot are just coming along for the ride. And your pelvis and your spine can stay nice and steady and quiet. And then pause in external rotation, toes pointing out to the side. You can stick right here or you can move your leg out to the side. Use the support you've got. Use the strap, use the band, maybe elbow on the floor. Take a breath or two here. Notice if your right hip is lifting off the ground here. Can you back off of that movement a little bit so that you can stay connected to the ground? See if your 360 breathing helps with that. And then come on back to center. We'll finish off with our twist. So switch the strap to the other hand. Straighten the other leg. Notice your shoulder blades on the ground to start off with. And then bring your leg over into the twist. Upper body staying connected to the ground. Lower body participating in the twist. And we'll let this one go. When you're ready, come back to center. Set the strap or the band away. Take this opportunity to move anything that would like to move. Move, stretch, or just rest if that's what your body wants right now. And when you're ready, come back into hugging your knees towards your chest. Take a moment here. Take a big breath. And then hold on to just your left knee and straighten your right leg up towards the ceiling, just like before. Flex your foot. And now we're just going to bend and straighten this knee. And as you bend your knee, try to bring your shin down to being kind of parallel to the ground. Let's do that a few times. Straightening and bending. And now bring in your 360 breathing as well. And the next time you bend your knee, stay here. Shin kind of parallel to the ground. And now we're going to straighten our leg, but not up towards the ceiling. Just reach your heel forward and then pull your knee back in and try that a few times. See if that 360 breathing helps you to feel more connected to the ground. And then bring your knee all the way back in. Have a little hug. You can rock a bit here if you like. And center yourself again. And let's do that on the other side. If you want a little bit of a wiggle here between sides, you can do that as well. Okay, so holding your right leg, straighten your left, heel looking up towards the ceiling. Let's start to bend and straighten a few times. Think about bringing your shin kind of parallel to the ground and then straightening again. Remembering to add your 360 breathing. And let's change it up. Stick with a bent knee, and instead of reaching your heel to the ceiling, just reach it forward, straightening your leg. Bring your knee back in. And try this one a few more times. Feel as if you're pressing your heel against some weight as you go. And then bring it back in. Have a little hug. Have a little rock side to side. And then let it go. Maybe like a full body stretch here, just reaching your arms overhead, reaching your legs down and away. And then just take a moment to rest. Okay, come on back to knees bent and feet on the floor. Nice. And notice when you just rest on the ground like this, what parts of the back of your body are on the ground? So you can feel your feet, the back of your pelvis, the back of your ribs, so your upper back, your shoulder blades, your arms, and your head. And maybe notice that your low back is curving up away from the ground. So low back might not be touching the ground. And now find your 360 breathing again. So there's a little bit more of a sense of expansion of the back ribs into the ground. And keep that going as you bring your right knee up. Try to make your shin parallel to the ground again. And then add the other leg. So both shins are kind of parallel to the ground. And then bring your hands up towards the ceiling as well. 360 breathing here. So we're maintaining that little bit of curve in the low back. But you find maybe that the 360 breathing helps you have a little stability in your core. And now we're going to straighten the right leg, just pressing your heel forward like we did before. Maybe reach your left arm up overhead at the same time and come back in. Let's do that on the other side. It's our upside down bird dog movement. And it does not matter how far you reach your arm and your leg, how close they come to the ground. They can be up, almost reaching up towards the ceiling a bit, and that is fine. Just find a place where you still feel stable in your core. So it's not too much strain, just a little bit of challenge for the core. And let's let this go when you're ready. Bring everything back down. Take a moment to breathe. Okay, and then bring your knees in again. Have a little rock from side to side. Okay, so with that band around the bottom of your foot, I'm starting on the right, but you can start on the left if you prefer, doesn't matter. Hold the band with both hands to start with and find a little tension in the band. I like to hold it so that my elbows can be on the ground. So see what works for you here. And then just flex your foot, pull your toes down towards the ground. You have the band kind of adding to that work of flexing your foot. So go easy here. See what level of tension feels comfortable for you. And then switch your band into just same hand as leg. So I'm putting mine in my right hand. Again, add a little bit of tension. Could be a little tension, could be a lot. It's up to you. And now try your rotations here. So moving from your hip joint, but as you rotate in and out, can you feel a little bit more connected to those muscles that are actually doing the rotation? Nice. And pause in external rotation with your toes turned out. And maybe let the other arm, on me, it's my left arm, just kind of rest out on the ground in kind of a T position. And then bring your leg out to the side a bit. Press your foot into the band. Use that support. Notice which muscles are working here to keep you steady. Can you find that 360 breathing? What's stretching here? Do you notice a little bit more when we add this tension? And then bring it back in. Nice. Okay, switch hands. Just a little bit of tension here. I give your band a little bit more, um, not slack, but a little less tension here. And straighten the other leg. Set yourself up for our twist. Nice. Tune into your upper back and your shoulder blades. Notice what neutral feels like here. And then bring your leg over into the twist. And take a few breaths. Use the strap for support. Back off of the twist a little bit if it doesn't feel stable. And take a few breaths. Notice how this one feels. Does anything feel different this time when you add a bit more tension? And then come back in. Bring your leg back to center. Loosen the strap a bit. And if you want, we can switch sides by just bringing the other foot up and kind of sneaking it into the band and switching that way. And I like to kind of spread out the band a bit here, just make sure that it's really well connected to foot. Nice. Okay, once you've got that, find a little bit of tension in the band. And we'll start with our hamstring stretch. Flex your foot. See what the tension adds to this stretch. Take a few breaths here. And then soften your leg. Let's move to our rotations. So bring the band into the same hand as leg. Add a bit of tension. Start your rotations. Maybe coming back to your 360 breathing here. Moving from a nice stable core. But see which muscles are doing this work for you. Can you feel them a bit more now? Pause in external rotation. You can choose stay right here, or you can open your leg out to the side. Find a position where your whole trunk can stay nice and connected to the ground, right side and left. And breathe. And bringing your leg back in when you're ready. Switch hands. Straighten the other leg. Connect with your upper back and your shoulder blades. And then come into your twist, allowing your upper back and shoulder blades to just stay where they are without pressing them down. Just let your leg only go so far as you can while allowing upper back to stay nice and grounded. And breathe here. Notice what it is that you feel in your hip and your leg. And then come on back up to center. Let's let this go. Set the band away. Have a bit of a wiggle. Maybe a little bit of a stretch. All right, nice. Take a breath here. Just notice how you feel now. Okay, and grab your band again. And this time, bring your right knee in towards your chest or whichever leg you started on with those movements we just did. We're going to bring the band around the bottom of the foot again. I like to make sure that it is kind of held in place by the ball of the foot. Once you've got that, bring your leg back to this bent knee position where your shin is kind of parallel to the ground. And I like to rest so that my elbows are right on the ground. So you could have a little bit of tension in the band, not too much, but your arms, your upper body can be supported by the ground. Nice. Breathe into your ribs. Find that 360 breath. And then press out through your heel as you straighten your leg. Nice. Twice as slowly come back in. Let's let your knee come back in, but control that movement. And try it again. Straightening and bending at your pace, but let it be slow and controlled. Have part of your focus on your ribs and your 360 breathing. If you notice tension cropping up anywhere else in your body, maybe it's your jaw or your shoulders, can you kind of redirect that to your ribs? Bringing a little bit of effort into just inhaling into the back, sides, and the front of your ribs. Awesome. The next time you bend your knee, keep it here. Straighten that leg so your foot's reaching up towards the ceiling. And rearrange the strap so not too much tension. Nice. With your leg fairly straight, bring the two sides of the band together and hold it with the other hand. So if you've got right leg up, you're holding it with your left hand. And so your right arm can be straight as well. So you don't have too much tension on the band, just a little bit. And once you've got that, bring your right arm up towards the ceiling. Bring your left knee up and try to make your left shin kind of parallel to the ground again. Nice. We're heading into our bird dogs again. So right leg, left hand, stay where they are. Reach your right arm and your left leg long and bring them back in. Try this a few times. And I really like to keep that 360 breathing going here. I find it's really nice and supportive. And notice how this feels. Is it a little bit more supported than the first bird dog? Is it a little more challenging? And as you bring your arm and your knee back to the starting place, let's stay here. And let's switch feet. So find the easiest way to switch the band to the other foot. Bend that knee again when you're ready, shin parallel to the ground. Not too much slack in the band because we're going to straighten this leg. Find a place where your shoulders and your elbows can feel kind of connected to the ground. And then straighten your leg, reach out through your heel. Slowly, slowly, slowly come back to the starting place and try this out a few more times. What muscles are working to kind of slow down your leg as you bring your knee back to a bent position? Can you keep your 360 breathing going? And if you do you find that to be supportive? And let's let this go. Loosen the band a little bit as you straighten your leg. Switch the strap or the band over to the opposite hand. So arm and leg are straight. Left leg, right arm. And then bring your right knee in, straighten your left arm up towards the ceiling. Find your bird dog shape. And then try out your bird dog movement a few times. Adding your 360 breathing. If you find any part of you is gripping or bracing to do this movement, can you redirect it? Find that 360 breathing, a sense of just expanding and opening up space inside your rib cage to allow the breath to move. And back to your initial shape with the bird dog. And let's let it go. Set the band away. Rest on the ground. Have any little movements that you'd like. Nice. Straighten your legs if they're not already straight. Feel your heels on the ground. Let your arms just rest. And think about just anchoring your heels down to the ground. But flex and point your feet a few times so that your toes are facing up towards the ceiling and then pointing away. And once you found that movement with your heels still grounded, just make that pointing and flexing movement more like a rocking movement so that your whole body can kind of rock a little bit. And then let that go and just rotate your legs. Just let them rock in and out a little bit. So your toes are going in towards each other, out away from each other. Lovely. Okay, bring your knees in towards your chest again. Have a little rock from side to side. And come on all the way over to your side. And slowly come on up. Find your seat. Nice. Just nice. Take a moment. Just notice how you feel. Okay. How's everyone doing? All right. Does that feel different with the band? Yeah. Okay, so we're not doing all of those movements because we're running out of time, but we'll come up to standing and use the band to do a standing balancing pose. So make your way up, grab your band. And again, if you don't have a band, you can use your regular yoga strap instead. Okay, so have the wall handy so that if this really challenges your balance, you've got that support. And you can stand with one hand at the wall, or you can also stand with your back at the wall. It's going to be a big balancing pose. So we do the yoga stretch called Supta Padangusthasana a lot. I don't know the English word for that one. It's the one where we lay on our back and we have the legs straight out towards the ceiling and we do our hamstring stretch and our rotations and moving out to the side and into the twist. So we're going to do it standing up. So grab your band or your strap. Stand with your back at the wall to start with, I think. Just get used to this feeling. All right. So placing one foot into the band. Use the wall for support to start with. And then with your band in both hands, straighten your leg. Does not need to be up here. It can be down here, wherever feels comfortable. Nice. A little bit of tension on the band. See if that feels supportive. Stand straight as best as you can. Nice. And just flex your foot. Pull your toes towards you. Reach out through your heel. Do a few rotations here. Maybe you want to hold the band with just one hand. It's up to you. Nice. Pause an external rotation. Move your leg out to the side. And then bring it back to center. Switch hands. Nice. And just look over in the opposite direction. That will be our twist for today. Maybe you can reach your arm out. And softly bring your knee back in. Remove the band. Nice. See what your hips would like now. Do they want a little bit of a wiggle? Lovely. Let's do that on the other side. So place your back on the wall. Get your band in position. As you straighten your leg, find a bit of tension on the band here so you feel a little bit more supportive. Nice. Flex your foot when you're ready. See how it feels when you're in a totally different position with this stretch. Move on to your rotations when you're ready. Nice. How does that feel in your hip? What's working here to make your rotations happen? And come back to your 360 breathing. Pause an external rotation, move it out to the side. Just a little bit, doesn't have to be a big movement. Use the wall for support. Bring it back in. Switch hands. You can straighten the other arm out on the wall if you like, and just turn to face in the other direction so that your ribs are moving a little bit. Back to center, bend your knee in, remove that strap, have a little wiggle. Nice. Okay. Feels a little different when you're standing up. Okay, so we're going to do that one more time. And you can choose. You can be right where you were, or you can come to fingertips at the wall, or you can come right into onto your mat or onto the floor away from the wall. Totally up to you. So, one more time here. I'm going to let you go at your own pace. You might like some of those movements and not other ones. It's up to you. As much or as little tension as you want here. There's the hamstring stretch. There's the rotations to try out. There's that movement of bringing your leg out to the side. And the twist is going to be a little more challenging. Keep your legs straight in front and turn your ribs over to the side like this. You are ready to let the side go. You can softly release. Nice. Shake it out. What in your hips and your legs and your core feels like it's been working? Probably lots. Yeah. Okay. Let's give the other leg some attention before we finish off. Trying a few of these movements. Trying to stick with your 360 breathing as you go. When you are ready to let it go, gently, gently come on out of this pose. Wiggle it out. Nice. Let's do just a few little circly movements here in our hips. Another one you might like is to come to standing with one hand at the wall. See if you can reach back and grab your ankle. And if you can't, the band can be a really nice support here to grab your ankle, bringing the ends of the band towards the back of your ankle. And then just maybe pulling on the band or pulling on your ankle if you can reach it. Reaching your knee down towards the ground. You can switch sides if you'd like. Okay, let it go. Have any more movements that you'd like? Okay, and we are ready to rest. And for our resting pose, your only goal is to get yourself as comfortable as possible. So get warm with socks and sweaters. Use blankets or pillows to be comfy. You can lay down, you can sit up, you can lay any way that's comfortable. And while you find your comfy position, I will bring the lights down here in the room. And when you have found a comfortable position, take a few deeper breaths. With every exhale, can you picture letting go? Just letting go of any kind of effort. If you notice any areas of tension or bracing in your body, just picture letting go a little bit, allowing a bit of softness in, allowing a feeling of heaviness through your whole body, through your bones. And just take these next few minutes for yourself to do nothing other than just rest.